Join me as we talk all things true crime.
Made contact and shattered.
The missing 4-year-old. The parents have called in and that the mother has went through a wall, came home, now they can't find her.
Chad, where are Lori's kids? They've been missing for 4 months. You have nothing to say?
4 were stabbed multiple times and were likely asleep during the attack. Some had defensive wounds.
Most of them had just like one that was the lethal stab wound.
Oh, what a tangled web we weave. Once I told a lie, and I told my family, I had to keep lying.
What's your, is it deemed?
We haven't cleared anybody.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for being here. Sorry it took me a minute. I was adding the Sebastian Rogers helpline in case anybody has information. So that'll be running across the bottom of the screen from here on out on every live stream, even if it's not about the case. We haven't gotten any updates in that case, so I just want to keep his name out there at the very least. And if anyone has any information about the missing teen, please call that number scrolling on the bottom. So can everybody hear me? And hello, Jess and Sherry, Kitty Q, Mayla's mom, Debbie Fox, Cindy, Sherry, good to see you guys. I don't want to go on and on because I just got a comment like, so annoying listening to you say hi to everybody. It's like anyone watching on replay who doesn't want to hear the hellos, can I just say at this moment, please fast forward. And hello, Tony and Mayla's mom. Good to see everybody. And thank you for letting me know you can hear me. All right, so I want to go through some updates and then we'll get into the recent interview. It was about a month ago of Wade Wilson's father, who spoke out on a channel called Lockdown 23-1. And full credit goes to that channel. It is linked in the description box. And they speak for about an hour and 10 minutes. And then today, actually, something else had just come out regarding Wade Wilson. And it's another phone call. And in this phone call, I thought it was interesting to kind of go through because he finds out that, YouTubers are playing his phone calls. So I kind of wanted to listen to that first. It's around 9 minutes, and then we'll jump into the interview with the father. So for those who don't know, Wade Wilson and where he's from Florida. On June 12th, 2024, the jury convicted Wade Wilson for the 2019 murders of Christine Melton and Diane Ruiz. The jury recommended the death penalty for each one, and he was convicted and now is serving time for those deaths in prison. So that's just a little bit of that. We kind of dug through a little bit of his background on our last stream regarding Wade, and we talked about his upbringing, people who knew him in childhood. So to get that information, please refer to our last live stream on him. So let's listen to this call. Again, this will go into the description box as well. It is phone calls from prison. And yeah, he's paid for and bought the Freedom of Information Act files and has been coming out with these calls. And it looks like this one he's saying is probably to be estimated around August 9th. So fairly recently, and obviously after his conviction.
Hi, baby.
Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I could hear you dialing last time. I just couldn't hear anything else.
Yeah.
But just as a heads up, I only have like $1 something left on this phone, so you'll have to call the other number after, okay?
Okay, what are you doing? Not that great. What are you doing?
Uploaded Courtney's video. So
Nice.
we're watching it. We're just monitoring all the comments coming in now. Been some pretty good ones so far. Yeah, been some pretty good ones so far, but they're going to continue coming in. There's only already 1,000 views. We only posted it maybe 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I do want to give you a heads up though. Your piece of shit biological father did an interview. So I haven't reviewed it or anything. Yeah, he did, because he wants pieces of clout just like every other person, because he's a piece of shit. But I just wanted to give you a heads up ahead of time. I just had it sent to me, so I haven't watched it or anything, but I'm sure we're going to probably do something with it. Because fuck that dude. That's fucking part of your life. Yeah. Fuck that dude.
So I believe they are actually talking about possibly the interview that we're about to listen to. Now, if you guys don't know this, he confessed to these crimes to his father, and his father is the one that called the police. So when he's saying F that dude and she's saying F him, all this stuff, it's like in actuality, the father, helped bring justice to the victims, and the way that him and this girl, one of his Wade wives, is kind of spinning it is just sick.
Is that what he's acting like?
Well, I mean, I'm assuming, so I haven't watched it yet. I'm probably going to watch it later, after your phone is off, when I can, just chill. But I'm sure that's what it is. He's looking for the fucking clout, acting like he fucking knows you, like he was in your life.
Right. He's never been in my life anyway. Hey,
no, fuck that dude.
Who did he do the interview with?
This guy jumpsuit Pablo, who's been a fucking problem for us. Not a problem.
Okay, so it's not the one we're going to listen to. It's a separate one. I think it's a newer one.
But he's just some dude who's just being a fucking asshole about shit. I can't wait until we just prove all these fucking people wrong. I can't wait until we prove all these people wrong, and we're going to rub it all in their face.
Is Jumpsuit Pablo the guy that's been releasing the phone calls?
No, that's phone calls from prison, but they're working with Jumpsuit Pablo.
Nah.
Yeah, and they did release another audio tape as well. I don't know how new it is. I'm gonna have to wait and review it later. But it was for some form of interview, so I don't know if it was from your interview initially with the media, or.
All right. So, anyways, back to my dad. Who is this Jumpsuit Pablo guy?
He's just some fucking troll who's just been covering your case that thinks he knows shit. He's not even fucking worth the breath of air. He's not. He thinks he knows everything about shit.
Did my dad meet with him in person?
No, it was virtually.
Yeah.
But this is why I got to get one from your actual parents if they're open to it, which I'm looking at flights for early next week. I wanted to go this weekend, but I'm not going to be able to, so I'm looking at them for early next week.
Okay. Yeah, but I'm gonna be honest. Anyways, I feel like we're moving a little too slow though on things.
Okay.
So we need to really probably hire. We're gonna have to hire somebody.
I know. I followed back up.
He sounds so panicky and aggravated. He really wants to get his story and his narrative spun out there, and is fuming, I think, that his father is speaking about this stuff.
With Kelly, and she sent me the script that she's going to be doing. I'll continue to do research on it tonight, though, too, and see if I can find somebody for social media.
I mean, let's be real. What we're doing is good, but we're taking way too long. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think Courtney's video, that shit was 2 weeks ago, and I know it's a lot, but then we drop it. I mean, tomorrow's the 10th.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're doing. I'm not saying we're not doing enough, but I don't think we're doing things quick enough.
I understand. I do.
Way faster, honestly, because we're dropping shit once a week that it really hits, and that's not gonna work for the 27th.
Yeah. I get it, baby. All right, I will move. I'll get with the team and I'll move quicker. I will find a social media person. I will.
We can't rely on Kelly or Shannon to help us move any faster, or Brooke. Help us, not to help us move much quicker.
I know. I got to take it in my hands. I'm sorry.
I mean, they're good, but they're turtles. To be honest with you, for what we're trying to do, and then we got fucking Val. I mean, she can't do every goddamn thing. And that's the reason why it's going so slow.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. I'll be on
we need
it.
to do
I'll get on it. I'll get
like,
on it.
Not like tonight, like now.
No, I know, baby. I'll be on it. I promise. I promise. I'll have someone by tomorrow.
What is that person going to be able to do?
Hoping to find someone who can help with the social media and editing content to help Val out, especially since she doesn't know what's going on with like all the war and shit over there. We got to have somebody. So I'll find them by tomorrow. I promise.
Yeah, we're moving way too slow, baby. I love you. We're moving way too slow. Way too slow.
Mm-hmm. It's hard because I'm in my fucking busy season for work, and they've been fucking jam-packing my goddamn schedule and literally so much. I'm like, I just wish I could fucking quit my job or take a
Oh, honey, he doesn't care to hear about your job or what's going on in your real life. He's all about himself.
sabbatical. I know, I wish I could just fucking take a sabbatical. Like, I fucking can't because I'm going to lose my job. But I think I'm going to look at my schedule and see if I can block it next week so I have some dedicated time to really be able to. And then this weekend I'll be focused all in on it. So I'll find someone by tomorrow, babe, I promise. Did Ari reach out to you?
No.
No?
I think she said call it 7. Somebody call it 7.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Yeah, no, Barry's flight will be landed by then. That's why.
I'll wait till like 7:15, I guess.
Mhm. Yeah. I love you. I hope you're not upset with me.
I am upset. We're moving way too goddamn slow. Yeah, no, I am upset. We're moving too slow. I've been saying this for a minute. Like, too slow, man, too slow. Brooke's not doing shit. Shannon's not doing shit. Kelly is good. Valerie's great. But we're moving too slow. We don't have... I mean, if these lawyers are what we got, listen to what I'm saying. If these lawyers are what the fuck we got, then we need to use some of that goddamn money and fucking hire somebody who can fucking put us on Front Street. Because right now we're battling with fucking jumpsuit fucking Pablo. And we're fucking over here releasing some bullshit once a fucking week. And it hits, and then fucking we're out. And I mean, what the fuck? Yeah, people love it. Yeah, sure they do. But I'm going to be honest, if we were moving faster and going harder and doing more production, people would love us way more. People love us, yeah, when we drop some shit, but whatever the fuck that is, they don't love us enough.
The way that he's trying to sway public opinion and to make himself appear like a victim or, you know, the justice system did him wrong, it's just absurd and delusional.
Not enough. Not yet.
I understand, baby.
And then let's be honest. Watch, I'll ask you this question. Check this out. Val with the miniseries. Guarantee you the first episode of that miniseries doesn't drop for like 5 days. And then the second one, same thing. Dude, that puts us at almost the fucking 20th.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not quick. That's not quick enough. We have literally so much information, so much to do, and here we are putting out some shit with Courtney in a fucking week, and that's it. Damn near, pretty much, like close enough. That's about it, which is cool. But goddamn, we did that fucking 2.5 weeks ago. It's not good enough.
I understand. I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry. I promise I'll push harder.
Let's just hire somebody. Let them push harder.
Yeah.
We got fucking $70,000 fucking dollars, so somebody can fucking push for us. We got $70,000. Why can't we just hire somebody?
Yeah.
We've been asking Kelly for a whole fucking week. We're just chilling, like nothing, like it doesn't matter. Tomorrow's the 10th of the month. So we have to sit here and wait on Val. Thank God for Val, but we still have to fucking wait. She's only one person. And it takes her 6 days. It takes her 6 days or more to drop a fucking video. That's not working out.
It's like you're not just staying in prison right now because somebody isn't making enough videos to show you in a good light.
Not quick enough.
Yeah.
That's not gonna do it.
I'm sorry.
That's not gonna. Why don't we look up somebody together online right now? Let's find somebody.
I'm already Googling it right now. So.
You know how you like to take things off my shoulders? All right. Well, let's let somebody do that with.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Let's let somebody do that and do a damn good job.
Yep. I got you. You want to call my other number?
Yeah. I love you. I'll call the
I
end.
love you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll get on top of this.
Yeah, right. I love you. Bye.
Thank you for using G.
All right, and that is the latest phone call, him finding out about the phone conversations being released and everyone just kind of going at it on YouTube. You guys have seen it now for months. We will get to the phone calls and all that. We're just kind of unmasking him from people who know him closest, including his father. The other news that came out this week, 2 days ago, is he is filing a lawsuit against the Lee County Sheriff's Office and the State Attorney's Office. The lawsuit is very much under wraps. So even Law and Crime kind of were saying that they didn't have much information on it. But they believe that it has something to do with his appeal process and the fact that his phone calls are being aired publicly and stuff like that. So we will keep an eye on that lawsuit as well as part of our research into this sicko. Again, this channel and phone calls from prison will be linked in the description box. And this is the father, the biological father of Wade. So let's get into it. And thanks, guys, for being here. I saw Cindy, Pointer Lover, Scottish Queen, Debbie Fox, Aries, Roxanne, Heather. Everyone's joined. So I'm so glad to see you all.
Name and where are you from for the people that might not know?
My name is Steve. I'm from Lakeland, Florida.
All right, let's start from the beginning, man. Take the ship.
I was young. What you're trying to do, but the way it comes off, it just, you sound so. When my mom died.
Let's start from the beginning, man. Take the ship.
I was young. My mom and dad had they divorced, so it was just me and her, and my sister was ripping and running, and I knew Wade's mom, and she got pregnant. I was 15, she was 14, and we tried. My mom, she had lung cancer, and she was excited to be a grandma, and she died a month before he was born. So,
I mean, what'd you do after that? That's pretty much the only person that you're leaning on at the time, right?
Yeah, I had an older cousin who just graduated college, and she gave power of attorney to him before she died, and she was pregnant with his name was Anthony. She was pregnant with him when my mom died, so I went through that, and I stayed with her with Wade's mom a lot, and then she went into labor, went to the hospital, had him, and brought him home, had him, for a few months, and then I got in some trouble, and I ended up doing 8 months in a juvenile program. And I know it was hard on her being so young and alone, basically with a baby. So,
and who was she staying with at the time?
She was staying with her grandfather in Tampa. Yeah.
In Tampa. Okay. All right. At least she had someone to lean on a bit,
Yeah. She had a good family. Her parents and grandparents, they were good people.
Okay. Okay. So you get your 8 months. She keeps the baby around. At what point does the whole adoption process come through? That came into play pretty soon after, or what?
Yeah, I was about to get out in 2 months, and I got a legal document saying that she was putting him up for adoption. And I was a kid. I didn't really have nobody to have my back, so it was what it was. I couldn't fight that. I wanted to at that time, but I couldn't do anything about it.
I mean, at that age, it might have been for the best anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I know me at 15.
Yeah. Listen,
Golly.
as I've matured, I understand that was 100% the right decision to do. So, I'm not upset about it. So,
yeah. And I'm sure a lot of people agree, including myself. All right. So, and that's pretty much the end of that. He just kind of vanished off into the adoption process. And,
yeah,
I mean, now after the fact, later on down the road, you know if he lived in a somewhat decent foster care?
Yeah, the people that adopted him, his mother, her parents knew these people from their church. So
Yeah, I think I remember reading about that.
yeah, and they were, they were looking to have a baby boy. So it just worked out where they adopted him, and gave him a good life. They're good people.
Did you know about any of that?
I didn't know specifically who it was or anything. I just knew they were from the church that her parents went to. And,
Yeah.
I know at one point they moved to Tallahassee. I heard that over the years, but that was it. I never had any contact or anything.
Okay. And some point y'all end up linking back up.
Yeah.
How did that go down?
Just random. When he was 18, I think he had reached out to his mother, and I hadn't seen her or talked to her since he was given up for adoption.
Really?
And
wow.
yeah. So I got a message or something that he had reached out to her and was looking for me as well. So we got in touch like that.
Okay. Okay. So break it down. The first time meeting up with him, man. Well, first off, are you tall?
No, absolutely
Well, he's pretty tall, right?
I don't know where he got that from. He didn't get it from us, I promise you.
He might not be yours, man.
Luckily, I did get the DNA test, so I know that for sure.
I'm here to.
So I believe he is 6'4", weight is, and his father, I don't know his height or anything, but hold on. Yes, he's 6'3" and 1 inch or something. 6'3". Sorry.
Say that, bro. I'm just playing, man, But
yeah, I thought the same thing. I'm like, where the hell did this dude get this height from? Everybody keeps saying he's 6'5". He's not 6'5".
Skips a generation or something. Oh, he's not 6'5"?
No, he's not 6. He's like 6'3".
6'3". 6'3".
Don't get me wrong.
He's 6'3".
6'3" is pretty tall. I see some similarities personally, like in their faces for sure.
But okay, that's tall.
Yeah, he's tall. He's still taller than me, I promise that.
Oh my goodness! All right, man. I'm trying not to laugh at this type of stuff right now. You know what I mean? But you meet up with him. How was it? Where'd y'all meet up at for the first time?
We talked on the phone.
Yeah, but how much did you talk to him before you ended up meeting up in person?
A lot.
Yeah,
a lot.
He seemed normal?
Huh?
He seemed normal?
No, absolutely not.
Oh no!
But you have to understand. By the time he came into my life, we were in opposite ends of everything. He was where I once was. He was in active addiction. He was, doing that thing. Just everywhere.
I mean, did he tell you this when he first? Did he tell you straight up, "Hey, I'm addicted to this, that, and the third"? Okay, he just straight up told you, huh?
Yeah. Well, we talked, and I knew, I could tell, and I told him about my past, and he told me where he was at that time, and it really, I felt like I needed to make up lost time. So, anything he wanted, I was sending him money, getting him hotel rooms, sending him Ubers, anything he needed,
Yeah.
And he was, in and out of jail. He ended up going to prison, and he did about a year, and that's where he lost his teeth at.
How'd that happen?
He just got jumped on. He doesn't do good with men.
Yeah.
He's not built like that. He's a coward when it comes to men.
Yeah.
That's the truth. When he was in prison, he was checking in multiple times, owing people money, just doing that stupid stuff. So his anger's always been towards women. He doesn't try men like that.
Well, was there any time where you felt like that you seen him get violent with women before any of this other stuff took place?
Oh yeah. Yeah. What would end up happening is, he would get with a girl and they'd hang out, rip and run for a while. And then something would happen, and she'd end up calling me. He he choked me out. He jumped on me last night. I don't know what to do. He scares me. All that. And when he would be high, that's when he gets so paranoid, and he just loses it. He last night. I don't know what to do. He scares me. All that. And
Sorry
when
about that, guys.
when he would be high, that's when he gets so paranoid, and he just loses it. He he becomes a different. How alcohol makes some people courageous. When he would do meth, that's what would happen. But it was always with women. He's never had a problem with women. Getting women. So that's who he would always take everything out on, is women.
Did he have any kind of relationship with his mom after the whole adoption thing?
A couple times. I think the adoption has hurt her.
I think we kind of all assume that he has some angst or aggression towards women for a reason. Again, true crime is about, the crime and justice process, but it's also about the psychology aspect for me. So hearing this kind of from the father about, his point of view with women and Wade's relationship with his bio mom, I think is interesting.
Worse than people think, and the older she got, she just never could pull out of it, man. She's been in and out of prison.
So you've been in his life way more than his mom.
I mean, yeah. She's battled her own issues. She still is trying to get her stuff together. So there was a few times where, he'd want money from me because he'd want to go down to Tampa or St. Pete and run the streets with her. And I said, I'm not doing that.
Wait, with the mom?
With his biological mom.
Oh, okay. So she was ripping and running with him a little bit.
Well, that's what they were trying to do, but I told him, I'm not sending you down here for that. That's going to end you up in trouble. I don't want that for you. And you don't.
So am I hearing this right, that the bio mom has drug issues as well? Or legal issues, criminal aspects? Am I understanding that correctly?
That's her mom. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's wild, man. All that put together, it could definitely do something to a young man's mind as a child and going up. That's just how it is. Some people it doesn't affect. Some people it does. And also, like I said to you before, some eggs just come out bad, and there's nothing that you can do about it. It's mental issues, man. What I mean? Something's wrong with the ticker.
One thing I've heard a lot of is people have said that when she was pregnant with Wade or Anthony, whatever back then, that she used drugs, and that's not true.
Okay.
She never used drugs with him. She didn't drink. She didn't smoke. She didn't do any of that. Now, as far as any mental illness, I don't know about that because we haven't seen each other or dealt with each other. So I know she's battled addiction, but she never used with him when she was pregnant.
Well, I mean, she was young, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
he was a kid, like me.
Yeah, it was different time and age too. I mean, young people can be addicted, but the majority ain't getting into that super hard stuff till a little older. You know what I mean? But anyways, speaking of which, since you clarified about something, is there any other type of things that you might want to, kind of clarify that you might have been hearing that might be some misconfusion?
One thing I've learned from this whole incident is, I used to be the type that would like scroll through videos and, oh, that's so sweet, or man, that's messed up. And I believed them. I believed the videos. One thing I have learned from this, man, I don't believe nothing because I see so many videos of whoever posting these videos like they have facts about something and they don't even know the half of it, and it really pisses me off because I'll tell you one thing that pisses me off. They want to post everybody's records. Anybody who was involved with this case, they want to post their records.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn if you post my record. Yeah. Anybody that knows me knows my past.
Yeah.
So it doesn't affect me at all. But, I read these comments and videos that say, how can we believe these people? Look at their past. They've been arrested. They've been to jail. They've been drug addicts. But you can't have it both ways. Wade's a drug addict. Wade's been to prison. Wade has a past. So you're defending him because you believe he's innocent, and that's your choice. But you can't criticize or judge anybody else about their past when the person you're defending has the exact same past and a lot worse than most.
Yeah.
So I just think it's so hypocritical.
Yeah. A lot of things
that
can be.
Yeah,
Sure.
and I've even seen stuff, about my wife, because I had the phone on speakerphone, and my wife was subpoenaed to testify. She didn't want to testify. I didn't want to testify, but they chose not to use her. So, people have questioned that. Why did the wife? Why didn't they? It's just ridiculous. It's almost like people are trying to just find anything to justify how they feel about this case.
They wanted someone else to blame other than Wade. Like,
Exactly.
You've already heard this question quite a bit. Let's start about around the time when he tells you about the first murder.
Yeah.
How the hell did that go down, man? Did you even believe him at first?
No. He's never told me a story like that.
Now, we all know that he testified at Wade's trial and gave his story about this incident when he gets the call. I think that there is, according to this creator in the beginning, he shares more here than he did on the stand. And hello, Delana, and everyone else who's here.
Hey, I killed somebody. Usually it's a long drawn out, my car's broke down, or his girlfriend's car's broke down. We need tires. We need this. So it was always those type of kind of junky move stories, and just needing help, But so when he called me, I was working. It was early afternoon, and it was a random number that I didn't recognize, but that was normal. He would call me from all different kinds of numbers. He couldn't keep a phone. So I answered the phone, and he said, "Hey, Dad, I need some help." Well, I automatically thought, he needs a hotel. He needs money,
Yeah.
for whatever. So it was a hot day. I was frustrated. I said, "Listen, call me around dinner time. I'll be done working. Just call me then. We'll figure it out." So he calls me, and he's in a panic. I could tell he's high, and I need help. I've done something I can't take back. There's two people that aren't with us anymore. And
did you know any of those girls? Didn't know nothing about them, huh?
I live 2 hours away, so I'm not familiar with that area at all.
Yeah.
And my first thought was, oh God, here we go. I just thought he was on one. And we talked for a few minutes. I said, "Listen, I'm on my way home." I said, "Call me back tonight and we'll figure it out." I said, "Are you safe where you are?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm in the house. I'm good." I said, "All right." So in the meantime,
and he's already told you about taking two people out.
Yeah, but it was general. That's all he said, and he didn't say, he just said, "I've done something I can't take back." So
now look, I know you've told, I hate to stop you. I know you've told this story before, but I haven't heard it. Honestly, I haven't heard it. Even in the court trial, I just kind of, watched that little snippet that they had. But my next move probably would have been to tell my old lady.
That was part of it, because here's where I kind of get things twisted sometimes. I'm a changed person, I promise you. But a lot of times I go back in that mode, okay? And I know when something's going on, a lot of times I just react and I don't take a breath and think about it, And that was part of it. I wanted to get home. I wanted to talk to my wife because I knew there was a different vibe about this conversation with him, but I just wasn't ready for it yet. But I knew something was coming, So I did. I went home, but before
I'm putting myself in your shoes, man. I'm putting myself in your shoes. Immediately, I would have been like, I'm going to the crib. And I already know what my old lady can say. Look, he killed someone. Record everything. That's the first thing she's going to tell me to do. Record. Yeah. She's got 4 different recordings and recording every end.
Yeah. The good thing about my wife is I've known her longer than I've known, Wade's biological mom.
Wow.
So she knows everything about me.
Wow. That's a long time. Well, before you move forward, look, you being locked up and that this kind of conversation's on its way. Are you feeling any kind of paranoia?
No,
No?
no, because one thing about me that I've learned over the years of doing the right thing, I just don't, if my hands are clean, I don't worry about it on that angle. I worry about it on an emotional level, because I don't know where we're about to go with things.
Yeah.
But, but in the meantime, as I'm driving home, I get a call, and it's a detective from the Cape Coral Police Department.
Before
And
you even talk to him again.
Yeah. In between the second call and me getting home to talk to my wife, I get a call from a detective. And what he had done was called me from one of these girls' phones.
Oh, man.
So that's how they got my phone number. And in the process.
So idiot Wade calls his father from one of the girls' phones that he had just killed. So now the father's, receiving a call from the cops. Interesting. Oh, thank you so much, Easy. It's good to see you. Baby will be, I go in for my scheduled C-section on the 22nd. So I literally have less than 20 days at this point. And guys, I have so much to do. But I do plan on going live and discussing these cases with you guys as much as I can beforehand. I am also in some crazy Wade Wilson Facebook groups. Some of them, obviously, I'm like working undercover, I guess you could say, to just gather like information from these Wade wives. One group is called Wade S. Wilson. Let's gather info to prove his innocence. I mean, that's how delusional these people are. I'm looking through these Facebook posts and I'm just like, are you kidding me right now? And hi, House Huddle. So glad that you are okay after the hurricane. We also haven't heard from a few people too, and some of them were in Florida, including Bio Girl. So everyone keep your eyes out for being Bio Girl.
I got a text message from somebody telling me that my son had jumped on his girlfriend and tried to kidnap her. So as I'm on the phone with the detective, I get a text message that tells me that. So I'm thinking, oh man. The detective asked me who I was. I said, I'm his biological father. And she said, do you know where he's at? And I said, no, I don't know where he's at. And she said, have you heard from him? I said, yeah, I've talked to him a couple times today. And she said, are you going to talk to him again? We need to talk to him. And I said, he said he'd call me later, And she said, listen, take this number down. If you hear from him, call us. I said, okay. Hung up the phone with her, went home, talked to my wife, told my wife about the text, told my wife about the detective, what Wade had said to me. And that's the only details I knew at that time. So, I was kind of left for a couple hours waiting to hear from him. And he finally called me. It was about 10 o'clock at night when he called me from the same number he called me from earlier.
And it's a girl's number.
No, not the first time. That was
okay.
from the girl phone. The second time was from a different number.
Oh, okay.
And he told me he was in a house, he was safe. What he did was he took both of their phones. So he kept Christine's phone open and called me from that phone initially. And then a lot of stuff happened in between, and he ended up in a house. He broke into a house. He called me about 10 o'clock. And we talked, just small talk for a few, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, Dad, I need you to come get me. I'm in trouble. So I'm like, my first reaction, I said, are you safe? And he goes, I'm safe. I just got to get out of here. So I jump up. I'm going to get my shoes on, get ready, and I'm going to drive down there and get him. Well, as I'm thinking about it, I said to myself, you better find out what's going on before you just drive down there.
Start touching things.
End up in some stuff. I don't want to be involved with
I'm like, hold on, bro. Hold on, son.
Yeah.
Hold on, man. Let's talk about these two people you killed first, because I ain't coming over there and touching nothing of yours. As I would have said straight like that to him.
Yeah. Well, I said to him as I'm getting ready and getting all my shit together, I said, listen, you got to tell me what's going on. I said, you know my past. I said, I need to know what's going on. And he started from the top. He told me him and Mila went to the Buddha, hanging out, and he gave me kind of a shorter version. He said they got into an argument.
And Mila's one of his girlfriends.
That was his girlfriend.
Main
yeah.
girlfriend at the time.
Yeah, at the time, yeah. He said we got in an argument, and I ended up leaving the bar with 2 girls. And I was like, okay. He left out the whole part about going to the dude's house and all that. He didn't tell me any of that. All he said was they went back to one of the girls' houses and hung out for a little while. He said her friend left and they had sex and she fell asleep on the bed. And he said he stayed up for a little while, just kind of partying. And he said he just walked in there, got on top of her, and choked her to death. And at first I was thrown by it. I didn't know. I'm trying to hear in his voice, is this another story? But I can hear the panic in his voice. I said, why, son? And he said, Dad, I don't know. Just wanted to do it. So
you believe that?
What's that?
Do you believe that?
The truth about it is, for years, I've told my wife, I said, my biggest fear is one day he's going to kill one of these girls. Because I'm telling you.
You had so many calls, man, from girls getting beat by him.
Multiple girls, man, would call me, text me, just desperate. Young girls, just
young girls reaching out to the father about the violence from Wade. When he says that he just wanted to do it, I kind of believe that. I think he's the type of psychopath, sociopath, either one of those, that sees someone laying there completely helpless and just has that like urge, they know that they can overpower them 100% at that moment. What do you guys think, that there was more to that story, or you think he just told his dad the straight up truth? He just felt like it. Oh, Vidin Inquiries, thank you so much. Hop on board. Money Wave started in Ohio for diapers, etc. Hugs. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you, and you didn't have to do that. Dad spins a good yarn, you think?
don't know what to do, don't know how to deal with it, looking for help, and everybody would say, when he's not on drugs, man, he's a great dude. He's funny. He's cool to hang out with, but it's something in him, man. When he gets high, he flips out, man. I just think, he just took it one step farther this time. I think he's wanted to do that for a long time. I know he's never done that before. He's never killed a woman before. I know that. But I feared that he would one day. So when he told me that, it hurt me, but it didn't surprise me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he's wanted to do it for a while.
Yeah.
And, I think about all these, videos and all this that people talk about. I wonder what all these people would say if all these prior girlfriends and baby mama, told their story.
Yeah.
Because they've been pretty quiet. I haven't seen anything from any of them.
Just trying to make sense of it. It's wild to think, man.
Yeah, my 15-year-old, these kids, they don't put their phones down.
Yeah.
So I think it's hard on my young son because, his friends have seen it, and kids in school, I know, have probably seen all this madness. And, they talk shit, but he's a strong kid. And I've taught him to be strong mentally.
Yeah.
And he's handling it really good.
Well, that's
so
good.
I'm proud
That's
of him.
good.
Yeah. So the more he talked about it to me, the more I could hear it in his voice. He was almost reliving it. You know what I mean? And I had such a feeling listening to him tell me what he had done, it got to the point where I put the phone on speakerphone because I felt like if I told my wife this, she wouldn't have believed me.
Yeah.
And I felt like I needed somebody else to hear this because I almost felt, I went back to like seeing him born in my memory, bringing him home, holding him as a baby, sleeping with him, bathing him, feeding him, doing all these things with him. I missed all those other years. So my memory of him was as a baby. And now he's a man. And I'm hearing this man that I helped create, telling me the details of all these things with joy in his voice. It made me want to throw up. I literally put the phone away and felt like I was just going to throw up. And at that moment, that's the moment when I realized I hadn't even heard about Diane's situation yet. But just the details that he went into about Christine, rolling her up in the bedding and tying her up and dragging her down trying to get her to the car, but he couldn't. She was too heavy, hearing him describe those things to me, I can't explain that feeling, from your kid, your son. Yeah, I didn't raise him. But we had a strong connection because he knew my past and we talked about that. We talked about, getting help for his demons, getting him some drug help to get off the drugs. We had detailed conversations, and that's why he called me. That's why, he felt comfortable to talk to me about it, because I think a part of him knew that I wouldn't judge him on it, but he knew I wouldn't be okay with it, because we had countless conversations about the physical stuff with these girls in the past, and I would try to give him a different perspective. What if that was one of your sisters, man? What if that was your biological mom? What if that was your adopted mom? Would you want somebody treating him that way? But it never changed. I know, Dad, I know I'm wrong, but the cycle would continue,
Yeah.
So it was hard to hear, for sure.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. Well, you already know that the detectives are pretty much getting a lead to everything that he's doing. So know they're going to hear this.
Yeah.
So
I mean, before he even started continuing the story, in my mind, I knew, I can't help him with this.
Oh, it was sealed shut right there.
I'm a firm believer, man. You don't hurt children and you don't hurt women, and these women were innocent. It's not like they got they were in a relationship and got in a heated argument. This was on the fly.
Yeah.
And it stemmed from his anger from his argument with Mila. That's where he really got pissed off.
Oh, man.
At the bar.
See, now look, this is another little picture I was painting in my head. A lot of guys, man, if the girl's really mad at him for leaving with another girl, he could have snapped and said, well, I'm going to take her out. Maybe I'll make her feel a little better, because he's so mad in a rage,
Mad. Yeah. And I don't know the ins and outs of the argument. He never went in detail with me about it, but I knew that that's where it stemmed from. His anger started there that night. And then, the drugs and just probably stewing on that argument. He did what he did.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I wasn't 100%, but I was about 95% knowing this is bad. This I cannot go along with this.
Yeah. And that's the thing, man. A lot of people, maybe not so many, but there's going to be some that would say, "Oh, hell no." Even after talking to the detectives and all that, I'm gonna still protect him. I'm not. Ain't no way. You get smoked right with him. You know what I mean? At this point, there ain't no helping, like you said.
Yeah.
Besides mentally,
Right. Exactly. and let me just make this clear. I've read a lot of.
Now think about the phone call we listened to before we started this interview. And Wade finds out, this guy jumpsuit Pablo's talking about your phone calls. And he's talking to your father, blah, blah, blah. And that girl's like, F him, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, F him. He was never in my life, this and that. And then all these times that the father has like tried to help him. You know, it's just, it's sick, really. But even with rehab and anger management, if he went to those, I think that he still probably would have ended up killing somebody.
Stuff, or people say, hell no, you know, that not my son. I would never turn my son in. I would never do that.
Yeah.
Well, it's a hard decision, I promise you. And it's the worst decision I've ever had to make, like in my mind. But I knew, because I know him so well, I knew in my heart what was gonna happen. 100%. I knew what was gonna happen. I could hear it in his voice. And you know, I tried, it was so bad. I was trying to almost calm
I
him
agree,
down,
Heather.
you know,
I
because he
agree.
was so amped up telling me about it. And you know, he just told me, you know, he left her. He left her in the house. He took her car, took her phone, and and then he went into he didn't go in detail about Mila much in that situation, but he told me he was driving. He's like, I don't know where I'm at. You know, he hadn't been in Fort Myers, Cape Coral area long at all. So he had no sense of direction. He didn't know where he was at. He was just driving. And to jump to Diane's situation, he told me that he saw her walking down the street. You know, he stopped, he asked her for directions, asked her if she needed a ride, and she got in the car. You know, I don't, you know, I battle with that because I don't get that part of it. And you know, who knows
Who
what
knows?
really happened.
At that point,
You
he
know?
could have just snatched her up, man.
Yeah. You
And
know, who
painted a
knows?
picture however he wanted to paint it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You know, so you know, he told me she got in the car, and
I hate to stop you again, but you hear comments like that. What kind of girl would just jump in someone's car? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We don't know. You're
don't know,
man.
I have always thought that part was a little strange. She was a mother by herself. Some guy asked her for directions. I always did kind of think it was weird that she willingly got in the car. Maybe he did snatch her. I think that there's other possibilities out there than just what Wade has confessed. The purple one says Wade is a liar. Exactly. Who knows? Exactly. Agree.
Don't know what
people
happened.
will take anything and run with it, man. You know,
Yeah.
it can't. You got to leave. It's too many possibilities. You know, we only know what we know.
And there was only two people there for that situation, and he's the only one that's able to tell what happened.
Yeah.
So, you know, he told me they drove for a few minutes, and he said, Dad, I just reached over and I just choked the bitch out with one hand, you know, and I was driving with the other. He said he then was looking for somewhere to dump her body, and he drove around for a little bit, and he said he went in and dumped her body in the woods. And he said to me, when he pulled her out of the car, he realized that she was still alive. And he said he got back in the car and he said, Dad, I run that bitch over till she looked like spaghetti.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Hearing my son say that to me, I realized at that point that it was over.
It makes
You know,
me
I
sick.
knew he enjoyed it. I knew he wanted me to feel, I don't even think intentionally he wanted me to feel his excitement. I just feel like he just was so amped up talking about it. You know, that's just how it came off to me. It was almost like he wanted me to feel, you know, I don't want to say joy. I don't know what the feeling was. Just adrenaline, maybe. You know, he wanted me to feel that.
Maybe he wanted you to have some kind of a acceptance of it a little bit.
Yeah, it sounds like he wanted acceptance from his father and maybe approval or to kind of bond over this. I don't really know.
So, I don't know, man. Or maybe, you know, he was trying to get you tricked the hell up too. Some little like some bitter payback stuff. He's going down. He's going to bring the dad that should have been there for me down too. You never know. Because, you know, anyone who's been locked up knows talking like to someone like that, you're making them an accessory right off the break. Anyone would know that. And if they care about him at all, they wouldn't, you know? So they'd be very bland. But from what he's broke down everything to you.
And I'm giving you the, you know, the short version of things.
Yeah.
When I tell you It's the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. It's the worst thing that I've ever listened to in my life. And it amplified it so much because, like I said, all I could think about was him as a baby, just that innocent kid, and I just was, in my mind was like, how did we get here? You know what I mean? How did we get here? Because he wasn't raised like that. His adoption.
And remember, we went through in our last live stream about his upbringing. Everyone said that his parents were very upstanding citizens. Hello, Melanie. Good to see you. And very nice people, raised him well. Nothing but good things have ever been said about his adopted family.
Adopted family, they're solid people, good people, hardworking, honest Christian people.
Have you spoken to them at all since that took place?
Yeah, I've spoken with his mother. Yeah.
I can only imagine how they're feeling about it. Like they can't.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I know how I feel. I can only imagine raising him. And they went through a lot. They tried everything with him. I mean, they tried everything. They put him in facilities to try to help him. They knew he was using drugs. They tried to get him help. He was in and out of detention centers, and he chose a different route. They did their job, and they tried to instill morals and good values in him.
Yeah, salute to them, man.
So they're solid people. This is not a reflection, anything on any part of them, because they really are great people. Yeah. So there's a part of it that never came out in the court. And, after he was arrested, him and I spoke on the phone a few times. And it was 2 days after he was arrested. I got a call from that same detective. And she asked me, she said, "Do you think that Wade would talk to you?" And I said, "Yeah, I think he'll talk to me." And I asked her why. And she said, we're searching for Diane's body and we can't find her. Do you think if you came down and visited with him, that we could try to get some information, anything about it, And I said, yeah. So the next day, my wife and I drove down, and she stayed in the truck, and I went in to visit him. And
they give you a normal visit or some kind of special visit?
Through the glass on the phone.
Okay.
He came up to the glass and he looked at me and he said, "Dad, did you turn me in?" And I said, "Yeah, I did." And he said, "Why?" And I said, "Son, the excitement that I heard in your voice on the phone scared me, because I knew that if you got away with this and got out of this area, that you would do it again."
Yeah.
And he looked at me for a minute and he said, "You know me so well." And I said, "What does that mean?" And he said, "You're exactly right. That's exactly what I would have done." And hearing him say that, it just solidified for me that I had made the right decision.
Oh yeah.
Because he openly said that to me, man, that was his intention, to get out of this area and keep on going.
I see what you're saying, Miss. So they said, has anyone noticed the demeanor or tone from Wade in his phone calls? His recent one has changed. I noticed that we listened to it in the beginning of the stream, the newest call, and he sounds very much like these phone calls being released and played for on YouTube is going to affect him getting out of prison. It's like, dude, you're never getting out of prison. And that's why he has filed, I believe, this lawsuit against the DA's office and the sheriff's office, because he's trying anything he can to kind of salvage some persona, public opinion, help his appeals. It's no matter what he appeals, there's so much evidence against Wade and so much points to his guilt in these cases that he's living a delusional dream to think that he would ever be released. And hi, Zoe and Seth. Good to see you.
So for that, I don't care what anybody says. It doesn't bother me, because I know in my heart that I did the right thing. I made the right choice.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
when I did that first video and I said that, man, can't let it ruin your whole life. You know, you got other kids and all kinds of stuff going on, man. He would ruin all their lives if you wanted to go. You would have to go on to run with your son. I mean, detectives already heard everything, you know. So it's ridiculous for people to even think that would help anything. You know, it wouldn't. It wouldn't help nothing. I mean, did it end well, that conversation?
Yeah. You know, in that visit was the first time that I saw or heard some emotion in my son's voice, because I said to him, I said, listen, you know, the second woman, I said, you know, she has 2 kids, right? And he was like, no. And I said, yeah, you know, I said, it's really hard for me, son, to sit at home and watch this media coverage and seeing her children on TV begging their mom to come home. I said, it's hard for me, son, because you and I both know that that's not going to happen. And I said to him, I said, you know, think about it. What if that was your sisters, your mother, your biological mom, you know, a woman you cared about? What, you know, would you want just, you know, someone to do the right thing?
I don't think there is a woman that Wade really cares about or ever did. Doesn't he have a daughter as well? So he commits this crime having children too. I mean, what good is that doing them?
No, I said, right now you look like an animal. I said, but you can turn it around. You know, you can do the right thing. I said, they need to find her body. And he was, you know, he had tears in his eyes. And he said, well, what do I do? I said, you tell the truth, son. I said, you tell the truth. What's done is done. You can't change it, but you can try to make it a little better, you know, for this family.
Tears in his eyes?
I didn't anticipate for him to go into detail with me about it, you know, but he said, I'm not familiar with Fort Myers. You know, I don't know the area. And I just thought to myself for a second, I said, did you throw her purse out of the car? And he said, yeah. I said, well, they found her purse. And it's like a light bulb clicked in his head. And he said, okay, well, where her purse was, you know, if you go down a little bit, there's like a neighborhood where they're building houses. They're real spread out. He said, I turned in there and I went to the back and I saw a wooded area. And that's where I put her body. So thankfully he did that. You know, he did the right thing with that. And
the truth.
I know they found her body that day. So he asked me, you know, will you tell the detectives to come talk to me? And I'll tell them the truth. Well, they were watching the video, you know, the visit. So they already knew the truth. And they did come talk to him that night. And that's where that confession that was played in court, that's when that happened, you know. So I don't know. I've heard people say, you know, he was set up. I've read stuff that says, you know, his dad probably did it. And he's, you know, using his son as the fall guy. It blows my mind. It blows my mind, the theories that people come up with sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
You had asked me about you know, when I first met him.
Yeah.
And you know, like I said, we talked for a little while and he was in and out of jail. You know, the time he was in Tallahassee, I was in Central Florida. So, you know, it never worked out. And he ended up getting locked up one day in Tallahassee in the county jail.
Mm-hmm.
And I called up there and talked to a supervisor or whatever. And I said, you know, I explained the situation to him. I said, this is my son, you know, he's given up for adoption. Haven't had the chance to meet him. You know, is there any way I can come up and visit? And he said, can you be here tonight? I said, yeah. And he said, all right, when you get here, I'll let you visit for a little while. So that's where we met face to face the first time, you know. And I remember he was already sitting down through the glass, you know, when I walked up and we picked up the phone and he looked at me and he said, are you my dad? I said, yeah, I'm your dad. And he said, I knew it. You know, it was almost like we just, you know, we connected, you know.
Sad, man.
Yeah, we did connect, but, you know, we just never had the chance. You know, he was doing his thing. So
it's your son, man, you know.
Yeah.
Very, very, very sad story, but I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It's one hell of a story. You know,
Yeah,
something out of a fictional movie. You know?
It's crazy.
No parent can ever imagine something like this unfolding. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've had people ask me, you know, What if one of your two boys did something like this? What would you do? And I said, first of all, I raised those boys. I can promise you they would never do that. I would bet my life that that would never happen. You know, I've taught them good morals. Their moms taught them good morals, and I don't know where that comes from, man. I'm not that guy. You know, I'm not aggressive like that with women. I'm not. I don't do that. You know, so I don't know. I don't know where that came from, man. You know, I have dealt with a little guilt behind this, and I know it's stupid, and I know that it's not my fault
I
at
think
all.
it's normal, man. Everyone would feel a little bit if they got a heart, you know.
Well, my guilt comes from he was in Tallahassee, man. He wasn't doing good. He said he wanted to straighten up. He said he wanted to get clean. He wanted to come down here with me and work, and I said to him, I said, listen, you can't come down here and work with me like this. I said, you need to get some help, man. I said, I'll set it up for you. I'll take care of everything. And I didn't think he would go, but he went. And I put him on a bus from Tallahassee to Palm Beach. And he stayed a couple weeks in the facility and met up with somebody and left, and my guilt has always been, maybe if I hadn't sent him down to South Florida, heading down to Palm Beach and the Keys and all that, it was wide open for him.
Yeah.
He I thought he had a good setup, he was working, and the problem was he just couldn't stop. He couldn't stop getting high. He couldn't.
For those who don't know, South Florida has a huge drug problem, specifically with that new drug, that pink cocaine. I don't know if you guys have heard of it.
Stop the drinking. He doesn't have a license. So, he's driving all over the Keys, getting pulled over, getting arrested, going to jail. I heard this theory that said, when he was down in the Keys, it was a whole international drug ring. And
oh yeah, I remember hearing about this.
Human trafficking and this and that. And he was brought down for security. Listen, do you really think a big organization like that is going to hire a convicted felon with no license to be their driver and their security?
Yeah.
No, they're not doing that.
Well,
I mean, it's common sense thinking,
And there's a lot of things that I've said to myself, man, he is just making stuff up, And when I've realized that, then I realized, like we were talking about earlier, anything could be possible. And the way these individuals died, how it all happened, everything could just be a bullshit paint job, with a little bit of truth in it. If I were to bet it, I'd bet my whole house on it,
100%. And you know how it goes when people first get arrested and they're coming off that dope or whatever they're doing. That's when they're more authentic. They're making those phone calls and they're apologizing and they're telling the truth. It's when they've sobered up and they've had time to think about and process what they've done and what they're facing. That's when the stories start. That's when, I need to make that. I'm innocent. And these stories are created and these people run with these stories.
Yeah.
It's madness to me.
Yeah.
The irony of it is he's still pulling the strings from a jail cell. He's got, it's just crazy. I was looking at these accounts, raising money and stuff. And I may have missed it, but I went down the list of all these people that have donated. And hey, what you do with your money, it's your money. I don't care what you donate your money to, but it's just all women. It's all women. And if you really,
that's kind of scary, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, really sit back and think about, if you go down the donation list, it's all women.
Yeah.
So think about that. He's pulling y'all strings from a jail cell, and he's a good looking kid, man. He's a man, and he knows it. He knows he's a good.
I think that's a bulk. If he was ass ugly, man, I don't think it would be going down like that. Trust me.
And to go off of what we're talking about in chat a little bit, in regards to his connections with men and women in a sexual manner, I believe fully that he will just use whoever he can. And it doesn't matter.
There was
I do have something I got to ask you, man.
Yeah.
And I was like, how the hell did he get that nice blue suit in the courtroom? Who got him that suit, man?
All right, this is simple. There's when he was in Palm Beach, he met a guy, he's a Christian guy, I think, him and his wife, they have like an outreach, to help young people on the streets and young drug addicts and stuff like that. And he befriended this guy, and this guy went to Goodwill prior to the trial starting and matched up all the suits and
Damn, he got that snazzy thing from the Goodwill?
Yeah, he said he went to Goodwill and got him.
I thought someone important got them threads dug up for.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they even let him in there with something that flashy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wonder, did the guy know what he was going to court for?
Yeah. He knew the situation. I think he's still in touch with Wade.
I
think they still communicate.
Yeah. He knew he had to dress to impress for that, huh? That's crazy, man. But the ladies might see him in that sharp suit, bad boy look, and not to mention a lot of girls too. They're trying to get a payday too.
Yeah, I saw something earlier where mentioned thankfully he's been able to be in touch with his family again.
Oh yeah,
and I can assure you, he has not reached out to anybody, his adoptive parents, anybody. So
not even
no, nobody. Because I hate to say this, but he doesn't need anybody right now. His commissary's fat. He's got an army of wives. I think that.
See, exactly what I was just saying. He hasn't even reached out to his adopted family since being behind bars, because he's got everything he needs from people. He's got people to use and drain and sucker.
They call themselves.
My God, man.
And that's all he's ever wanted. Take care of me in jail. Take care of me on the streets. Take care of me. And as his dad, I hate that. I hate that side of him. It's so much easier to be genuine and honest and not use people. And I hate that for him. I hate that at his age that he still does that. But he knows he's a good looking man, and that's his MO.
Yeah, very selfish individual. It sounds like, man.
Yeah, and I just I wish I had more time to try to help him through some of those issues and turn him around, but there's just no going back from that. So, there's an old saying, I've thought about it today, it says, I brought you into this world and I'll take you out of it. And I know what it implies, but I don't mean it that way. I mean the free world. I felt like as his dad, with what he did, it was my responsibility to not have another family go through that, and it was hard for me to do that. But in my heart, I knew that was the right choice. So I don't regret it.
Yeah. I mean, do you think, was there at any point before he stopped talking to you that you had wind that he might be really angry at y'all?
I asked him, and when we were visiting, and he said, I'm not mad at you. I know you did what you had to do. So I know that was the genuine Wade in that visitation. So I kind of hold on to that because we haven't spoke. The last time we spoke, we got into it on the phone because he was reaching out to the media, trying to do these interviews from jail, and claiming I'm set up, I didn't do it.
Yeah, I've seen some of those.
Yeah, he called me after that, and I said, son, what are you doing, man?
And we played one of those interviews with a news person on the last stream too, in case you guys wanted to see that. But he definitely was trying to play it off that he was forced to confess, etc.
I said, listen, I know what you're trying to do, but the way it comes off, it just, you sound so phony. You sound fake. You're stumbling over your words. You're kind of making stuff up as you go. And I said, it's not being received well. I had told him, I said, don't talk to the media. I know they have a job to do and I respect their job, but when you're trying to fumble over your words and kind of make stuff up on the fly, it comes off bad. And that was my point, to telling him that, you don't need
all that stuff might be brought up and looked at during his full sentencing as well, so
exactly.
Judges might see this stuff and see right through the evilness and like, this guy's got to go, Florida's good
Yeah.
for that, man. They're definitely are. But this is another thing, if he ever hits any other prisons, if he don't stay, yeah. Do you know if what kind of living conditions he's in? 23-1, I'm guessing.
Yeah. They've got him locked down. Him and a cellmate that he had a few years ago. They tried to escape out of the jail.
Yeah, I read
By
about
their
that.
window.
Yeah.
So I think since then he's been locked down.
Yeah, no,
So,
especially with the popularity of the case too now. Probably gonna
Yeah.
keep him in there because if he ever hits the main line, man, some people might have something in store for him.
Yeah. And the other thing I feel like I have to defend in a way is all these swastikas and all that.
Yeah.
That's not who he is. He at all. That's not who he is.
And I don't know if you guys ever heard the interview. I believe it was by a media source, asked him about his tattoos, and he pretty much declined to answer. Like, was thrown off by the question, it seemed, and was like, I don't see how that's relevant to the discussion right now, or something like that. So he won't even like back up, proudly anything that he has tatted recently on his face.
That's all for show. That's his defense mechanism, because like I said before, when he was in prison, I think he spent more time in protective custody than he did on the yard. So I think that's all just trying to look big and bad. I just wanted to say, I haven't spoke to anybody about this. I've had reporters. I get so many messages, and that's just not my thing.
Yeah.
I didn't used to be in this situation, but from the start, I respected your take on everything because, you understand the situation and you've been vocal on that. And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have had my back, but a lot of people have condemned me for what I think doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And it was hard, but I did it because I knew I needed to.
I mean, he even said it to you, man. I was going to do it again.
Yeah.
I mean, that should solidify any kind of thought process like that for you, at least. But
well, maybe all these online detectives, maybe they can figure out a way to get a copy of that visit video. And, I guess at that point they'll figure out a way to, discredit something. But
yeah, they always will. They always will. It's how it goes, but.
And that video call had been released last week. We haven't reviewed it yet here. We're kind of working our way in unmasking who Wade Wilson is. And we will get to those calls, interrogations, and body cams soon.
But sad what he did, and my condolences go out to the family members. Once again, I had to go through any family member, even the Foster family. They raised them, so I'm sure they felt a lot like it was their own.
Yeah, and you know what else, man, that I don't think people really get, or maybe they just don't care. But when you put all this misinformation out, and you're posting all the same old pictures and the same old stupid stuff, you need to think about these two women's families.
Oh, yes, Sophie.
You need to think about, their children, man. It's not just Wade that's going through something. It's not, they have to watch this if they choose to.
Yeah.
And they know what it feels like to go through what they went through. And I can assure you, it was horrific to both of these women.
Yeah.
And it was unnecessary. But before you say things and post things, you really should sit back and think about these people whose lives forever are changed.
Yeah.
Because of something that should have been avoidable,
Yeah.
So
it is what it is.
I appreciate you.
Yep. I appreciate you as well, my friend. And how are you going to feel if they say death?
I don't even know, man. I don't even know because I think I'm torn with that because I've always been I've seen it differently. I get a lot of people, that no death penalty and I get it. I respect your opinion. But I personally have lived with some of the worst monsters. And I've seen their behavior, and so I have a different outlook on certain things. There's a limit to people's grace. when it comes to, you know, certain crimes. But I do feel when you do something so just brutal, you know, I don't know. There's no rehabilitation in prison, you know, just like it's just no different than an animal shelter. You know, they let you out a little bit, throw you some food, throw you some water, whatever. You know, there's no rehabilitation. So I'm torn with that because I know in his heart, he doesn't want to be in general population for the rest of his life. I know he wants that security. And I know that, you know, being on death row, you know, isolated, I think a part of him really knows that he has to have that because with everything he's put all over himself and with the things he's done and some of his life choices, he knows he can't freely walk a prison yard. You know, it's just not going to happen. So, you know, I don't know. When that day comes, you know, that's something I'll have to live with the rest of my life, thinking about, you know, my child possibly getting executed. So, you know, I haven't even dove deep on that one yet.
Yeah, I can only imagine, man. Because you know, even though you did connect with him, you know, I'm guessing he's still kind of like a little bit of a stranger to you in a sense, huh?
Yeah, a lot of things. Yeah, and I'm the type of person, man. I'm a fixer. You know, I want to, you know, people that know me know I'm going to help you. I'm there. You know, anything. But I don't know. This one got me. You know, I wasn't expecting it. So I don't know.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. It just shit into the stick. You know, you got to play your cards how they're dealt. That's all you can do about it, man. Is there any kind of advice that you could give to any parents out there that might be dealing with a violent kid or anything, you know, anything that might come across your mind?
I mean, the only thing I can say is, you know, do what's right. Do everything in your power to help them. You know, get through it. Push them. Sometimes tough love is the best. But I pray nobody is in this situation as a parent. And you know, ultimately, at the end of the day, if you know that you've done everything in your power for that child, and they still choose to make certain choices, you know, it hurts. You know, you can you wish you could fix it, but you have to do what's right, and you have to think about other people and their suffering.
Yeah,
and it's hard when it's at the hands of a life you created. You know, it's hard.
Yeah.
All right, so that channel is linked in the description box. The channel that we listened to the newest phone call from prison is also going to be linked in the description box as well. So we are just kind of on our episode 2 of deep diving into Wade Wilson, unmasking him, finding out more about, I guess, the psychology behind somebody who does what he did. We'll listen to the other phone calls and all that soon as well. But I appreciate you guys being here, and I appreciate everybody who participated in the chat, who sent super chats, who hit the like button. Thank you guys so much. I know, still watching now, but this makes no sense. The whole crime, it's like, why? And then for him to be so adamant that he deserves to be out, it's just what is going on in these people's heads, basically. But tomorrow night is our Chris Watts weekly deep dive. We usually just deep dive into that case, so we'll do that. And then Friday, we are going to do updates and review and react to Gypsy Rose's interrogation. So we'll be starting that one on Friday. And then, yeah, I hope to see you guys tomorrow night and Friday night. You guys hit that like button, and thanks everybody for being here. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.